Well, good morning. I'm Deborah Murray, and I'm the Executive Director for the Caldwell EDC. And we welcome everyone who's viewing from at home, as well as our crowd who's gathered here today, to talk about retail strategies in the 2014 world of Caldwell County. You've heard us talk for a long time about the importance of retail to quality of life, to the support for all the many businesses and individuals that call Caldwell County home. And today we are very excited to launch our retail strategy for the Caldwell County 321 corridor. I've had many people say, why don't we talk about the entire county? Well, we do talk about the entire county, but we've got to have a good place to start, and 321 is that very strong asset for us as far as potential retail goes. So we are very excited to launch this effort. I want to thank county commissioners who are attending with us today. I see Randy Church and Clay Bollinger and some of our city folks. Ron Stillwell, thank you for coming. Ben Willis. Who else we got here? We have Granite Falls well represented, and Hudson. We have represented the mayor and town manager. Ronnie, thank you for coming. I see my friend Alan Stewart back there. We appreciate everybody. Seth, Jerry. If I keep going, now I'm going to have to mention everybody by name, and I'm sorry. I'm just going to stop right there. Because I'll forget somebody or have an old-timers moment, and then there I'll be. And I see Dr. Boham, and I have to say his name, because if I don't, I'll hear he'll tell me about it later. And he's going to disco dance for us later. Anyway, thank you very much. We're excited about this opportunity, and it is most important to our county. This is not an EDC project. This is a Caldwell County project, and we want to be very clear on that. All of us will benefit. So we have representatives from our entire community here, and we're excited about what we're going to learn about how we will approach the growth of retail in our community. It was a long process for us to choose a company to help us launch this effort, and you saw the article in the paper today, and that pretty well summed it up. It's a unique group that will not just give you the materials that you need, give you the definition of your market, but then go help you make those calls and contacts and attract the kinds of companies that we will be able to support. And the company that we decided upon was Retail Coach, and we have with us Joseph Koon this morning, who is going to launch the strategy for us and be our representative and contact throughout this process. This is a one-year process, but if it goes well, we would hope that we would continue our relationship, and this gives us the opportunity to change our mind and go a different route if we were to choose to, but we have all great expectations, no pressure. And we feel like this is also the right time. Had we started this maybe 3 or 4 years ago when the economy wasn't showing as many signs of rebounding, we might have had a slower start, even though we might have been successful. So this is a good opportunity, good time. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Joseph. Joseph, welcome to Caldwell County.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here.
Ma'am.
I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Good deal. I appreciate you guys having us, and we're very excited to be partnering with Caldwell County to help with retail recruitment and development. Just to give you kind of a quick background on the Retail Coach, we've helped over 250 communities in 25 states over the last 15 years to become better places to live, really enhancing their quality of life and assisting them and positioning them to be successful in retail recruitment. Kind of just give you an idea of the project leaders on this. Will be our Vice President, Aaron Farmer, and myself. He's actually in our Texas office, and we couldn't quite get our schedules lined up to make the first trip, but I really wanted to go ahead and get up here to kick off the project and bring you guys in to really give us an understanding and a feel of the market. You know, no one knows their area better than the people who grew up here, live here, have businesses here, that kind of thing. So we really wanted to go ahead and get this started and I would love for this to be, you know, conversation type. If you have any questions or comments, you know, please feel free to ask, to say something. You know, we're really going to judge a lot of our work on some feedback from you, from the local retailers, developers, that kind of thing. This PowerPoint can kind of go through our process, give you guys an understanding of how we're going to reach our goals in this project, and really just, like I said, get some feedback from you and help us moving forward. So as I mentioned, the stakeholder meetings are a big part of our process. We love to bring the stakeholders in, have a good understanding of how they feel the market is today, how they feel it used to be, and how they feel what it could be, the potential. We really want to have an understanding of where your family shop, you guys dine, where you guys having to leave this market to go to other markets, whether it's Boone or Hickory, to shop, and why you have to do that. You know, can we get one of those retailers or restaurants that you're leaving this market to shop? Can we bring them here along this 321 corridor? And that's what our research is going to be able to help show. So this is really that kickoff meeting, getting that going, and as you can see, we have an area and local market analysis, and within our first 120 days of this project, it's called our research phase. We will do everything from our demographics, our psychographics, trade area, and so forth that I'll get into, but that's really where our research and it helps us understand the potential and opportunity here along the 321 corridor. And after that, the remainder of the year is when we recruit the retailers, just because that's usually what takes the longest. Before the downturn in the economy, there might have been 10, 15 site selectors for these retailers all across the country. Well, now there may be only 4 or 5 covering the entire United States. And so they've got communities everywhere saying, hey, we want you in our community. So our goal is to really help speed that process up, package you to make you look like, hey, there's an opportunity here and I can't miss out on it. And get that in front of the site selectors, the decision makers. And like I said, try to speed that process up of them selecting a site along the 321 corridor as quickly as possible. So you guys know your community. This is you know, really where our focus is going to be from Lenoir all the way down to Granite Falls along the 321 corridor to help get that developed. So really the foundation of our work is going to be the retail trade area. Where are customers coming from to shop, to dine in your market? How far are they coming from? Because 98% of the time, we're going to base you off your retail trade area just because that's going to make you look better than your community population. The bigger that trade area can be, the different levels of retail of restaurants you're going to be able to reach out to and have an opportunity to locate here within this market. So that's really the foundation of our work. Once we have that trade area confirmed, then everything we do, all the reports we run, is going to be as a trade area and not your community population, just because oftentimes, and more than none, it's going to make you look better than your community numbers. And everyone knows demographics. Each retail, each restaurant has their own site selection criteria that they have to meet. There are certain type of customers that they have to have in a market before they can locate there. Oftentimes, you know, they have to have a certain population, certain income, education, age, race, etc. And so we're going to be able to identify what retailers and restaurants match the type of demographics that are within your trade area, and that's who we're going to go target. And psychographics. How many are familiar with psychographics in here? Anyone? It's kind of taking demographics a step further. It's not just knowing the race, the numbers, but actually the attitudes, the values, the lifestyles of the customers and the residents within your trade area. So from not only the same site selection criteria that they have for demographics, they have for psychographics, but also it helps for them to merchandise. The same type of merchandise that's in the Walmart here, the Dollar General, etc., is not going to be the same type of merchandise that's in my hometown, Tupelo, Mississippi, or out in Austin, Texas, or even in California. There's a different type of customer here that's buying different brands, different types of goods. And so once we have a good understanding of the psychographic portion of the trade area, then we're going to have a good understanding to help these retailers, not only to come in, but retailers that are already in your market to help how to merchandise to the consumers here. That way, if they don't have the goods here, they're going to leave your market and go somewhere else that has those goods. So we're trying to help them and help you guys keep as many dollars here along the 321 corridor in your county as possible. another huge portion of our study is going to be a gap or opportunity analysis. We're going to look at different retail sectors, everything from sit-down restaurants, children's clothing, shoe stores, etc. We're going to be able to see the actual sales versus the potential sales. And so there's either going to be a surplus or a gap. And so all the sectors that have that gap are the types of retailers we're going to target. If you have $10 million leaving your market in shoe sales, well then one of our retailers we're going to be targeting is going to be a shoe store. Same thing with sit-down restaurants, and we know that that's going to be a large gap just because there's not a whole lot of that casual sit-down restaurant in this market. And you know, there's no telling what that number is, but we'll be able to actually quantify that. And that's one of our sales pitches to these retailers and restaurants is, hey, you've got X million dollars worth of money leaving this market going somewhere else to shop because they don't have it here within their community. And that's going to be a huge portion. Really, that trade area and that gap analysis is crucial in recruiting retail. So we're looking forward to getting through that and understanding where the opportunity is going to be. And that's whenever we'll be able to identify the specific retailers, restaurants that we can go after. And just this year, it's been about a 5% increase in retail growth, with about 43% of that being in the restaurant sector. So that definitely bodes well moving forward. A lot of these projects that were halted when the downturn in the economy, they're starting to come back online. And so that is definitely a great time for Caldwell County to engage in a project like this. Another big part will be a land use analysis. I'm sure many of you, and just spending a few days in the market, I've noticed some sites that maybe aren't serving their highest and best use, and I'm sure that a lot of you have discussed that within yourselves and within your communities. Really taking an approach of looking at it as a retailer or a developer, not what it is today, but what it can be tomorrow kind of approach. And that's really when we come in, we're going to look at specific sites in your market. And then should it be a sit-down restaurant, or should it be a retail development here, or should it be a fast food restaurant? But right now it's a vacant corner lot, or an old tire and auto center, whatever it may be. We want to really look at it and, through the eyes of a retailer and say, okay, well, right now it's X, but in a year we want it to be Y, that kind of thing. So that's kind of our approach moving forward, and I think that's going to be a big part of this project, because there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of land that can be developed along the 321 corridor, and we're going to be able to help kind of create a vision and moving forward, see what that opportunity can be. And all our information, it's not going to be where we just keep it within ourselves and the ED group. Deborah's going to be our contact, so kind of our approach moving forward will be to constantly update her on our research, where we're at within the project. And once we start creating all these reports, I'm going to send them to her, and then she'll be able to disperse them out to you, because it's oftentimes we find if we have multiple communities or multiple contacts that we're trying to reach out to or trying to keep up with, it's tough to have 4 or 5 contacts within a project that we're trying to constantly update. So we found that it's best to have one point of contact. And also from a retail standpoint, if anyone contacts your community and they want questions or information, you'll be equipped with it, but at the same time, everyone needs to have maybe one point of contact that they're reaching out to, whether it be your mayor, whether it be Deborah, and that way, if someone needs information or has some questions, they go straight to them instead of going to the zoning person and then the city manager and then the mayor, because time kills deals, in other words. And you want to speed up that process and make it easy as possible for them. Treat them as a customer. And so if you have that one point of contact where someone says, hey, I'm a developer, I'm interested in your market, you say, okay, well, you need to talk to Deborah. You send them to her, and all the information, any questions they have can be answered just like that instead of getting the runaround, because if it's tough for them to get the information they need, they'll move on to the next project, next market that makes it easy for them. So that's really our goal, is make it as easy as possible for these retailers. We don't package big reports like this because they don't want to read through it, they don't have time to read through it, and same for you and me. We put everything individualized. The trade area is going to be a packet, the demographics, the gap analysis, that's all going to be separated. That way, if they want to look at it, they flip it open, it's right there, they go to the next one. It's just real easy for them. And, well, so let me touch base on this. Once we have all this information kind concluded, then we want to bring in the local entrepreneurs, local businesses to show them where the opportunity is. Because oftentimes we find that they may be able to expand their merchandise. They may be able to open a jewelry section, a shoe store section, or open an entirely new concept, new business. So our research has helped numerous independent businesses grow, and helped entrepreneurs that are wanting to do something but not quite sure what they can do, what the opportunity is, to really help them understand, hey, there's an opportunity in this retail sector. I'm going to open a new store here, and it's been very successful. So we really want to bring the community in on this and let everyone know the information that we found and where the opportunity to make their businesses grow. So once we go through all this research, have a good understanding of the market, your trade area, where the gaps are, we identify retailers that are a fit, that we feel can be supported here based on our research. And not only do we target the retailers, but we also target developers that are active in the area, because oftentimes we find that there may not be the product or the shopping center development on the ground today for a retailer that say, hey, I want to be in Lenoir or Granite Falls, Hudson Sawmills tomorrow. There may not be that type of development for them to come into. So we have to find a developer that can bring it from the ground up. And once we have 2, 3, 4, 5 interested retailers, then it's a lot easier to get those developers interested in doing a development here within the community. And so that's another thing that really separates us and going to be a big part of this project. You do have a few vacancies within the 321 corridor that someone can come into, but at the same time, a lot of these retailers these days are wanting to go into A or B class centers, those higher tier developments. And so it's really going to be crucial moving forward to locate those developers that can make it happen, that have experience, that have been successful, and that really, kind of have that following of retailers that like to come in and cluster in their development. So that's going to be big moving forward. And at the same time, we're looking at the national, the regional, but also independents. If we can help, locate some independents along this corridor, that'd be great. But each kind of submarket, which we're going to label as Lenoir, Hudson, Sawmills, and Granite Falls, each one of those communities is kind of its own retail submarket or district. Each kind of has its own potential. And so we're going to be able to help identify what that potential is, because the same type of retailer that wants to go in Lenoir may not necessarily want to go in Granite Falls or Hudson, Sawmills, and vice versa. So we're going to kind of look at it and have a strategy for each submarket. And that's really what's going to be crucial moving forward, because each retailer restaurant has their own site selection criteria that they have to meet from a population standpoint, et cetera. And so we're really going to help quantify and understand where that opportunity is going to be for each submarket. And one reason why the contract is a year long is just because it's a process. If I stood up here and said, hey, in 2 months we're going to have a restaurant or a retailer, then I'd be lying to you. It takes a while. By the time they say, okay, they do all their due diligence, they do the research, back up our research and say, this is the market we want to be in, then by the time they go find a developer to put it on the ground, by the time they go through the city, get all the permitting, the zoning, everything, you're looking at a minimum of 8 to 12 months right there. And that may be a fast project. So oftentimes we find that communities want something done within just a few months, but it's a process, and it's not an event. It's going to be something that's an ongoing project moving forward, and as it says right here, be persistent. A no today may be a maybe in 6 months. These retailers and restaurants are constantly changing their expansion plans. I'm sure everyone's seen the Family Dollar, Dollar General stuff. At the beginning of the year, Family Dollar is going to open about 400 or 500 stores this year. Well, then all of a sudden they started closing stores, and now they're kind of in a battle with Dollar Tree and Dollar General, who's going to buy them. So it's constantly changing. There's been plenty of retailers where in January we were recruiting them. They said, no, this isn't a fit right now. Well, last month they're saying, hey, can you send us some more information on that community? So it changes constantly. So that's our job, to keep up with the market, to know who's expanding where, and to target those types of retailers and restaurants that would be a fit and locate here within the market. And that's kind of the key points in our process. I know I introduced myself to a few of you guys, but I'd love to have your cards. I have cards for you if you have any questions down the road. Because we really want to understand what, from your standpoint, what are the strengths, what are going to be the challenges, where do you see the opportunity from your standpoint, and and anything else that you feel would be beneficial in our process to help us out.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Joseph, for your presentation. And I'm excited. I think at this moment, I can't imagine you would bring us a retailer that we wouldn't want to seriously consider. I'm excited about the opportunity, and we're excited to be able to communicate back with you as the process goes. The EDC will be making available their information, and as we get it, we're going to make it public. We are who we are, and there's no reason not to put that out there, so that if you in a municipality need some information, you'll have either a link to that or can direct someone directly to it, or have it also connected on your website. Any and all information shared we will be free and easy with all of that, because that's, again, it's a community-wide effort. It'll help us in many, many, many more areas than just strictly along 321. 321 has the largest traffic volume of any of our other thoroughfares. So again, it's a starting place. It's where we think we're most likely to be able to get some traction on this, but it's not an end. And all of our communities use different parts of 321, crisscrossing back and forth across the county, and so simply it is a starting place. And we'll get a lot of exposure for the county in all of the work that Joseph and his folks did. So it's a good place to start. So thank you very much, and if you want to hang around and talk with Joseph afterwards, I welcome